Hello, this is Brinda Bhatt from My HR Policy, and today we are going to talk about checkpoints of employment agreement. An employment agreement is a formal document which specifies conditions of relationship between an employer and employee, which defines but not limited to compensations and expectation. This agreement can be referred as employment contract, which can be executed for a specific period of time like 1 year. An employment agreement or contract contains terms and conditions to which an employer and an employee both are bound to. A copy of employment agreement is executed in two parts. One is for employer and another is for employee. Let's have a quick review on what important elements to check in detail before signing your employment agreement.
Checkpoints in employment agreement. First is designation and working hours. This clause defines the position offered to an employee, working hours, responsibilities, etc. This information must be added in the most precise manner. You can specify job location and term of employment as well. Second is compensation and benefits. This clause specifies the remuneration to be paid to the employee by the employer for rendering services to be mentioned in this clause. This clause must be in compliance with statutory provision as equal pay for equal work, minimum wages, etc. According to the position person holds, the benefits are given, for example, office car, other social security benefits like PF, ESIC, etc. includes in this clause. Vacations and leave. This provision deals with the number of holidays provided by the organization, including but not limited to the government and public holidays. This provision covers sick leaves and other different leaves offered by the organization. Fourth is confidentiality. The employer includes this provision to ensure non-disclosure of important trade and business secrets of the organization by the employee. This provision may remain in effect even after the term of employment ends in order to prevent dissemination of proprietary information of the organization after an employee left the organization. The fifth most important clause is period of notice. Take a closer look at the period of notice. This is often an underrated aspect. Between 1 and 3 months by the end of the month are the norm. Particularly in higher position, though, offer policies may be in place which can prove to be career stoppers in the long run. For example, when the regulation is 6 months by the end of period, new employers usually can't wait that long for their new employees. So make sure you go through this before signing. Sixth is termination. The why, when, and how of the termination of the agreement has been dealt in this clause. It must include the circumstances in which the organization wishes to suspend the services of the employee or when the employee wishes to resign from his or her job. Seventh is governing laws and jurisdiction. By including a jurisdiction clause, the parties of the contract clearly specifies the judicial court which will have the right to resolve the legal dispute between employer and employee in relation to their agreement. A governing law clause is an employment contract sets out of choice of law of the parties to the contract. Laws relating to employment vary from state to state, and hence it is advisable to state the set of governing laws so that in future it does not create confusion on which laws are applicable to both the parties.
Smaller companies often hire from family, friends, or by asking for recommendations from industry friends. But all of this will change if you are hiring an unknown candidate for a new job role. You will need to adopt a strong HR practices so that you can hire smart. Agreement or contract provides security to both the parties and beneficial, especially during bad times. So make sure it contains all the important elements. It should not let confuse you if the contract does not contain all the aspects you agreed upon verbally with your employer. That is why it pays off to study all the aspects closely before signing it. Thank you.